Hey guys, this is Brian Jones from Valhalla Academy in Frankfort, Kentucky. And today we're going to talk about chokes. Chokes are a really common attack in judo, jiu-jitsu, and submission wrestling. We're trying to render our opponent unconscious or make them tap out. Okay, the real goal in a street fight would be to render the opponent unconscious so you can get away. Or if you're law enforcement, to put them in a position where they're no longer resisting into a cuffing position. In a tournament or a training scenario, people will typically tap out when they feel that the pressure on their neck and they know that they're caught. Sometimes people pass out. So why does this happen? Well, let's look at first of all, our brain. Okay, our brain is a very complex organ. It keeps us conscious. If we starve it of oxygen for a brief period of time, we're going to lose consciousness. We're going to have a brief bout of what is medically called syncope. We're going to pass out. We have the right and left common carotid arteries, okay, on both sides of the neck. They take blood up from the heart, so oxygenated blood goes to the brain. If we press on these, okay, these are the same ones you can feel if you take the pulse in your neck. If we press on these and collapse them so that they're no longer taking blood up to the brain, we're going to pass out in a very short period of time, in a few seconds. An additional response that we have is called the pressure receptor response. So in the carotid sinus, which is just an enlarged area of the carotid artery, we're constantly monitoring blood pressure. And this monitoring blood pressure is done by the stretch on the walls of the artery. So if we press right on that carotid pressure receptor, our body is going to register that we have a super high blood pressure and cause our heart rate to drop really fast. So physicians even use this to slow heart rate down in emergency situations. It's called a carotid massage. So if you happen to be on top of that, now that's hard to find in a person, especially if you're using a whole arm or a gi or something. That explains why some people go out in 6-8 seconds. Some people go out in what seems like 2 to 3 seconds. So there's probably a combination of both blood flow getting cut off and this carotid pressure receptor response. So we can cut the blood flow off on both sides with our own limb. Okay, think of the rear naked choke. One side here, the other side here, pressing on the neck. Okay, there can also be the gi on both sides. Think of a gi choke, a sliding lapel choke. Okay, it could be the legs. Think of a triangle choke. It could be one of your limbs and one of their limbs. 2 of your limbs, or any combination, basically any way we can put pressure on both sides. So all chokes that cause unconsciousness, all blood chokes, or some variation of that. So basically, once you get the choke in, the person is going to lose consciousness in a very short amount of time. So is this dangerous? Okay, so I've had a few conversations with people that say choking people out is dangerous, but a review of the scientific literature does not bear that out. Okay, there are no fatalities reported in judo competitions from judoka being choked out. And there was the Journal of Forensic Science. There was, in I think it was 1987, there was a study published and it looked at judo deaths since 1888, and there have been no reported strangulation deaths. So unless somebody holds you, it takes about 4 to 6 minutes for the brain to die from strangulation, so nobody can hold a choke that long. Your arms are going to give out first. There's usually going to be a referee around, or the training partner is going to notice that you're not moving anymore and let you go. Okay, so unless you hang yourself or somebody hangs you, then you're not going to die from that. So it's a safe training thing. If you pass out, you pass out. The key is awareness. So you have to be aware of your training partner and their responses. The coach needs to be aware. The referee needs to be aware. If that person is no longer responding, you need to let go at the first sign of unconsciousness. Okay? There's a big difference between getting knocked out and getting choked out. Okay? So the trauma of a blow to the head, or falling from a standing position and hitting your head, or landing from a throw is very different. That kind of unconsciousness is very different than the kind you would get from a gi choke. That kind requires a different kind of intervention as well. If somebody passes out from getting choked, they're going to come to on their own. Now you can speed up, you can lift their legs up a little bit and help the blood go down to them. Maybe move their legs around, kind of talk to them. I mean, mostly unnecessary. They'll come to on their own. They'll be a little disoriented and confused. The main thing is that you don't want them to jump up really quick, because people want to start and they want to go again. They're like, oh, I was out, and they'll jump up and then pass out again. Because everybody's had that experience where you've been lying down and then jump up really fast and you get lightheaded because, well, you don't have enough blood going in your head then. So the last thing you want to do after getting choked unconscious is suddenly jump up and then put yourself out again. So if it happens, don't freak out about it. Just have that person lay there. I have them put their legs up on elevate their legs, make sure their blood flow is good. Have them sit out a couple rounds, ask them how they're feeling, and then they can go again. Completely different story. If somebody falls from a height or gets hit or lands from a throw and gets knocked out, they could have a neck injury, and you would want to go through all your standard CPR, first aid type stuff, and make sure that they're going to come to. People that get hit like that will typically be out for a lot longer as well. As far as the trachea chokes, okay? So there's a difference between the blood chokes and the trachea chokes. So some chokes are attacking the windpipe. There's some versions that pull straight in on the rear naked choke, or some guillotine versions that cause a gagging and that really strong response like that. That could damage the trachea. So again, if the person, but that's typically, it takes a long time to put somebody out from lack of air because they already have oxygenated blood. So they're typically not going to pass out from a trachea choke unless you've held it for a long time, okay? And that could damage the cartilage. But a standard blood choke that puts somebody out quickly, not going to cause a problem at all. So basically, we kind of covered that. The physiology, you cut the blood flow off, okay? They're going to pass out in a short period of time. They're going to come to, they're going to be a little disoriented. You don't want them to jump up. And there's a difference between an injury from a height and an injury, or falling from a height or getting hit in the head and a choke out. Okay, so different. If you choke somebody out from standing, though, you don't want to just let them go and let them fall and then hit their head, okay, because that might cause an injury. So in this next little bit, you're going to see we had some volunteers at the school just get choked out, so you can see about how long it takes. These people were all willing participants, as you can see on the video, about how long it takes them to go unconscious, about how long it takes them to come back, what their responses are, and then a little brief interview done within 2 minutes of them coming back to. And I would never ask anybody to do anything I wouldn't do. So the last one is my buddy Greg choking me out with the triangle. All right, so I hope you enjoy. Fine. Greg Taylor, do you consent to be choked out?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go ahead whenever you're ready. He's out, let him go. Right, lay him back, just scoot back a little bit.
What happened? Aliens, dude.
Am I still choked out? You okay?
Yeah.
Okay, Greg just had a sliding lapel choke applied to him. How long did that feel like you were out for? Did you feel like you were out at all?
I feel like I was out for like 20, 30 minutes.
Really?
I actually felt like I was at home, and then I woke up.
Did you have like dreams or anything?
Yeah, I was dreaming. I felt like I was at home talking.
Were you disoriented when you woke back up?
Yeah, definitely.
And you don't like remember anything?
I don't remember
stuff?
nothing. I remember it was getting tight. Then I remember asking somebody why they didn't wake me up.
So, do you feel okay now?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, cool.
Are you okay with being choked out?
Yes.
Do you get permission for me to record?
Yes.
Okay. Is it? Is it? Okay.
Am I out of it?
You're out and back, bud.
Yeah.
Say, Mike, you just got choked out with a rear naked choke. Tell me what it felt like. Did you know you were out?
The way I can describe it is if you've ever had anesthesia or anything for a surgery, it pretty much feels like that, where you just start kind of gradually, it's very peaceful, slip away, and then you just come back, you don't know what the hell happened to you, pretty much.
How long did you think you were out for?
It didn't seem very long. Like, it felt like I was waking up from sleeping pretty much. I mean, it wasn't scary at all. It's very calm when you wake up.
Cool. How are you feeling right now? Are you disoriented or anything?
No, I feel like a little bit lightheaded, and it's not anything uncomfortable really at all.
Cool. All right, thanks.
I consent to be choked out.
Oh, hell, I did go out.
That sounds like a dream.
Hey, Patrick, you just got choked out. How long did it feel like you were out for?
I thought 10, 15 seconds once I realized I was out, because I initially didn't even think it had worked.
What'd you feel like?
Buzzing, numbness, tingling, no pain or anything like that. Just, I started coming back to, and I was like, well, heck, it worked.
So, how do you feel now?
100%.
Good deal. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Sandro, do you consent to being choked out?
Yes. Ugh.
Sandro, you just had the hang on. Sandro, you just had the bow and arrow choke applied to you until you went unconscious. How did that feel?
Felt like I was dreaming.
So you felt like did you have some dreams and everything?
I didn't have dreams. I just felt like I was in like a different dimension.
How did it feel? Like, how did it feel when you went out?
Very peaceful.
How do you feel now?
I feel like fine, just like kind of buzzed, but that's it.
Were you like disoriented when you woke up?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
This is Brian Jones. I consent to be choked out.
Brian, wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up, Brian! Wake up! Hey! You alright?
Yeah. So, basically, that felt like my head started to tingle, and I knew I was getting choked out, but I didn't feel any pain. It was just kind of a whooshing noise, and the next thing I know, like, it was being shaken. I was vaguely aware that something was going on, but I wasn't really sure what it was. And then I'm a little bit disoriented right now, but cool.